Varnam. The Varnam is a word that signifies color because every time a Varnam appears on program, it is sometimes done professionally as a second item, but in an Arangetram program, it is done always third after the shutdown. The Varnam is a very complex dance form. It's layer on layer of structures, not only of the dancing, but the music. It's layer upon layer of symbols and its detailing of various philosophical ideas. All these things need a long time, not only for the dancer to study, but also for the audience. One begins learning a Varnam, and it is only after many years that one realizes, perhaps in the middle of a performance, what one single mudra or one single word actually means. And it is like a realization. The Varnam is an entire world in its own. From my experience, the moment the Varnam starts, the moment you start dancing, to the point where you reach the end of the Varnam, it is almost like as if time has stood still for this beautiful form, for this beautiful structure, both in dance and music. The Varnam is all that is magnificent about Bharatanatyam. All the various wondrous aspects are combined. It is also a test of the dancer's skill, dancer's strength and stamina, and capabilities as far as expressions are concerned. It combines Nritya and Natya almost in equal portions. Typical of the Varnam is the recitation of the jati syllables or drum syllables, also called tirmanams, where the Natwana or the dance master chants the syllables to be danced. Such syllables as Tathit Tom Nam, Tom Takarita, Kitanaka, Tajam, Karitakatum are all combined rhythmically, crossing the rhythm, sometimes in syncopation, into a phrase. The importance, of course, is the perfect timing of the dancer, and also how the dancer ends each one of the phrases. There are 5 jatis to be presented in this Varnam. Normally, there are either 5 or sometimes 9. Then the dancer expresses through Abhinaya the lyrics, interprets the lyrics of the song. In this Varnam, there are 2 lines in the first half which are given full elaboration, after which the dance moves in a much faster way and the Abhinaya is done in a much faster way. Also, swara passages or musical notes are introduced to which dance is choreographed. A passage of pure dance in Bharatanatyam is called a korve. This is a string of adavus, movements, which have been joined together, set aesthetically to a set rhythm and a complete drum phrase finish. Each one of the korves have to be done in a very sparkling way and in a very clear, precise way, so that each adavu or the units of dance are seen in the true pristine beauty. The footwork, of course, gives the audience an idea of the complex rhythm of the dance. In the Varnam, the dancer enters and performs the first tirmanam or the first drum phrase syllable. This is called a 3-kala tirmanam, that is set to 3 kalas or timing, in slow speed, double speed, and quadruple speed. After which, the dancer interprets the first line of the song. This Varnam in Kamas Ragam, which has a very lilting, teasing mood, is addressed to Lord Shiva in his form as Tyagaraja, and the dancer is the Nayaki or the Nayika, the beloved of the Lord, who is a little bit disturbed because he has chosen to ignore her. The dancer addresses Lord Shiva in very familiar terms and says to him, "How can I tell you of my great love for you? How many times and in how many ways must I speak to you that you will listen to my words? In how many times, in how many ways must I tell you of this suffering I have when separated from you? I'm at a loss." The dancer then shows an episode in her life whereby the Lord had promised her that he would come to join her at a certain time. Anxious to please her Lord, she went to the garden of majestic trees and branches and beautiful vines with flowers blooming everywhere. In her youthful innocence, she plucks flowers and makes a garland with the flowers to garland him when he comes to her house. While making the garland, she thinks that he had arrived, and rushing to the door anxiously, she looks out and she waits, and she waits, and she waits. Alas, the Lord did not come. Feeling dejected, she goes back and she finds that her garland had wilted and died, and she feels that it is as if it is the same as her youth and innocence. She crushes the flowers and throws the garland away and asks, "Why, my Lord, have you not come? In how many ways must I speak to you of my love?" The name of the Lord is mentioned in the second verse after two more jetties. And here she describes her Lord as one who is most noble and esteemed and most beautiful, who is most heroic and valorous, who is none other than Tyagaraja, Lord Shiva, who holds the deer and the axe, who is none other than the one with the third eye, who is none other than the one who destroyed the three cities of the demons with his bow and arrow. She describes him as a most beautiful Lord, who from the temple moves out in procession on the bull Nandi, where all the crowds of people have come to witness his procession, with Nadaswaram trumpets being blown and drums being beaten. She then describes an episode in the life of Shiva and his wife Parvati. She says, "I remember once when you, Lord Shiva, together with your spouse Parvati, decided to have a game of dice. You, my Lord, played the first game, and when you threw the dice, you lost. Parvati, of course, in her very feminine way, gently picks up the dice, throws it down, and of course wins the game. She laughed at him and said, 'What, my Lord, will you give me for this game? For you have nothing. You are an ascetic. Don't give me that tiger skin that you wear. I don't want it. And as for your elephant cloak, please take it away, it is hideous. And your snake ornaments, they fill me with dread. What then will you give me?' Of course, Lord Shiva is angry and says to her, 'Don't you dare mock me in this way. Do you not know that I have another form? I will give you,' he says to her, 'the vision of my true form as payment for this dice game. He takes her to a mirror and tells her, "Look now into the mirror at my reflection." Parvati, of course, laughs. And when she looks into the mirror, she sees his beautiful form in the most beautiful, pure form ever imagined. It is said only she saw this form and only she knows what it looks like. She is intoxicated with its beauty and she forgets herself that Lord Shiva is still standing beside her. When she comes to herself, she laughs and says to him, "Don't be angry with me. I was only joking." And embraces him. This elaboration, called Sanchari Bhavam, is very much part of a Varnam, and the dancer has full freedom to express herself or himself in whichever way he or she wishes. In the second half of the dancer describes how her heart has been pierced by the flowery arrows of Manmada, the god of love, and addresses Lord Shiva as the slayer of Manmada, who with his third eye he killed Kamadeva, and as the wife, as the husband of Parvati, and as one who is worshipped by Brahma, and says that she cannot bear this suffering, that her body feels as if it is being burnt by this fever of love. "Have you no pity on me, my Lord? Will you not come to me? For you," she says, "I have surrendered my body and soul. What more do I have to give to gain your love?" This suffering is unbearable. She also says that I have no faults, only pure love for you. Will you not sanctify me with your embrace? Then she is filled with suspicion. She thinks maybe the Lord is angry with her because she says, perhaps you are annoyed with me night and day because you have listened to some other woman's jealous words and have become angry with me. To be with you and to be close to you, she says, was my desire when I heard of your great deeds and great beauty and fell in love with you. I wanted to come and be close to you to follow the path of bliss where you lead. She also says, do not reject me, my Lord. That you have forgotten me in an instant, this amazes me. She also addresses him as Samraj, the just Lord, who blesses with his dancing foot uplifted, who is the essence of the great Vedas, who is the one who is full of karuna, compassion, and says to him in the end, will you not beckon to me sweetly and affectionately? Will you not speak sweet words of love for me? O one for whom Indra pays worship. The Varnam always has Shringara Bhavam, or the erotic mood, as its subject matter, and is always concerned with the Nayika. The Nayika is, of course, the young maiden who is in love with the Nayika, who is the Lord. The young maiden symbolizes the human soul in search of unity with the divine soul, that is, the divinity. This Varnam in Kamasragam is set to Rupakatalam, a count of 6 beats, and is a very, very ancient piece, a very old piece, and a very difficult piece to perform. It was first choreographed by my guru, Sri Aryar K. Lakshman, to be performed by the great dancer Yamini Krishnamurti. It is also a Varnam which, for many people who are familiar with the Varnams, I'm sure there are enough students and dancers in this hall to know what I'm talking about. There are 3 charanams in the second half instead of 1. 3 lines of the charanam refrains, which is a bit odd. And you can tell by the actual aradi, or the drum phrase of the footwork at the end of each one of the charanam. Joyoti with the Varnam in Telugu. Inthe.